All right, welcome everybody to another edition of Late Night on Base, presented by Send Digital Cash, peer-to-peer, all over the world. Privacy tools built in. Let's send it. Proud sponsor of the show for the month of June. Shout out to Ethan and the team. It is Tuesday, and I'm excited. Well, first of all, I'll tell you why I'm not excited. I'm not excited because Bitcoin literally is just taking a shit and nosedive. I don't even know what's going on. I'm still, maybe I'm just strange or weird. I don't know, but like, I just think Bitcoin's going to pump crazily and the market's going to explode. I do not see, maybe short term, whatever. I don't know. Two things. I don't see all these like bears saying, oh, Bitcoin 50K, 40K. When's the consensus ever right? When? Never. There's way too many people saying that. So I cannot think for any second that the equity market's going to rip to all-time highs, the stock market, and let Bitcoin just sitting there. Nah, fam. Nah. Maybe I'm delusional. I think there's going to be a giga candle at some point. I don't know when. I don't mess with leverage, so I don't really care when. But yeah, I mean, alts haven't really been affected either. So that's interesting. You know, typically when Bitcoin drops, alts get crushed. Except if maybe if you're Ethereum or something, but a lot of the alts on chain, especially on Base, for instance, have done pretty well, have held up. So we're going to have VEILNET on. VEILNET is a very interesting project, a banker launch project, and they are bringing privacy tools to AI agents. Looking forward to that. And we're also going to have Brandon, and he is a really interesting guy. I'm excited to talk to him. He is the Dazzle Novak. I think it's the Dazzle Novak. Yeah. Don't know what that means. But he's killing it, man. He is crushing it over on AVAX. He's made a name for himself over there, and he has his own media show, and he has some really good guests. So I just kind of want to talk to him because here at Late Night on Base, we're not just in the trenches. We know the trenches very well, but we're here to talk AI, apps, tech, on-chain. You don't even have to have a token. I just want to get to know interesting people and let the world know what's being built. So that's what we do. Other than that, though, you know, we're on Monday through Thursday for everyone new here. At least 2,000 viewers per episode is my goal because otherwise my mother will think I'm a failure, and I do not want that. So please don't disappoint my mom. So without further ado, though, we already got 100 plus people tuning in. Excellent. Let's bring up the VEILNET team. My friend, how are we doing today?
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good. I just was worried you couldn't hear me.
Oh, loud and clear, brother. Loud and clear. Welcome to the show, man. This is the first time we've connected. So it's really good to have you. Have you done many of these streams before?
Honestly, this is our first, and we thought it'd be the perfect place for us to talk about our technology, considering the wide influence, and we are on the Base network. So we thought it'd be best to speak to you first before anyone else.
Well, I am honored, my friend. I think it is. I have to applaud you, right? Because here at Late Night on Base, what we try to do is we give the stage to builders. We're here to bring distribution to builders, but also it's good for the investors in the community to hear from the people behind the project because they can make their own decisions. They're most, it gives them a peace of mind. So it's a two-way street, but not everyone decides to come on the show. But I wanted to reach out to you because I think it's a very interesting project. So if you don't mind, why don't we start with just the beginning and simplify it as easy as possible? What is VEILNET?
Simplifying everything we've built is quite difficult, but if I'm honest, to break it down, we are a privacy ecosystem that is built on encrypted execution. So everything you do on chain somehow leaks to the public blockchains that they're built on, and our whole purpose is to encrypt your swaps, your balances, every prompt your AI agent fires, even MEV bot scans. We plan to encrypt everything. So if I was to put an analogy to it, I would say that every public blockchain is like a glass house. Every wallet, every balance, every swap is publicly available for everyone to see. And because of that, your competitors can read it. Other people, bad actors, can read your balances, your swaps, exactly what you're doing on chain. Analysts can map it, and your whole financial um, life is open for the world to see. And that's something we believe should be kept private. That's why we built like a whole ecosystem where you can encrypt your balances, you can encrypt your swaps, you can basically hide everything you do on chain.
Interesting, interesting. And real quick, I just want to give a shout out to the arena. The arena is over on AVAX, and it's a wonderful community. You guys, the chat is very active out there. Our streams are distributed on X, YouTube, and also the arena. We're multi-chain, and so now you guys are tuning in. 400 plus people currently tuning in to the VeilNet team live on Late Night on Base. Okay, so privacy is the most important feature, kind of what you're revolving around it. And that's actually what made me interested in talking to you guys because me personally, I think privacy is very, very important. But I want to hear from your perspective, and we'll get into the details of your tech and what separates you from others. But let's just start from an overall perspective. Why is privacy, in your opinion, so important that you needed to build something like VeilNet?
The way we see privacy is going back to original cypherpunk ideals. So when we first got into crypto, it was for a lot of people that were OGs in the space, it was due to being on forums that probably weren't the best place to be, or places where things were talked about that other forums wouldn't talk about. And it was part of being like part of a culture where you're free to express yourself and say the things that you want to say, do the things you want to do without the potential oversight of governmental overreach. And for us, blockchain started off, especially Bitcoin started off with the perfect ideal of combating the monetary system. But without the privacy feature, it's a almost hazard for normal working man, normal person. Um, as well as that, we believe that blockchains basically create like behavioral graphs for people. So, for example, if I swap on a Monday between these certain assets, I show my transaction that goes to X and Y blockchain. Over a period of time, this behavior can be mapped and turned into a graph, and then it's a permanent searchable record for what I own, what I trade, where I move my funds, what strategies I use, what apps I like to use, what I might do next. And in a time of governmental overreach, governmental oversight, these are things we believe are best kept private for the people.
Yeah, I think
And it's a financial privacy problem in essence.
yeah, no, and I agree with you. I think the issue of privacy is something that's like the individual sovereign right. Everyone has the ability to transact in private, but these blockchains, it's not. And so you have privacy solutions being in place. And if you look at things like Zcash, who's done really well, and there's
Yeah.
no surprise because government outreach is a concern. And as you know, a lot of people, myself included, as time goes by, you give the government more and more, they'll take more and more, and then you lose all your fundamental right to privacy. So
I do
absolutely
have to
agree.
make one point though. I have to make one
Sure.
point. It's not that we see that government overreach is the only essence of why we wish to remain private. Like it's also about like obviously remaining within my regulatory framework, but it's also like it's about removing unnecessary disclosure. No one else needs to know why I swapped between BTC and ETH on a Tuesday morning at 4 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
and transferred to a DEX on SushiSwap, for example. But we believe that there are bad actors out there that would potentially be using our data, creating behavioral graphs, and mapping out people's data to be used in a negative way. That's why we're creating this technology. That's why we've created so much tech, in essence.
Makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. Okay, so now the privacy angle is done. You clearly see a thesis. You decided to build it. Run with me. What makes VeilNet different? Because you have a lot of features, and it's very unique. But let's just start. Let's highlight what makes you different than say other things out there. And feel free to share a screen because I know you have an app and stuff, so we can share it. But feel free to share anything. But let's talk. What makes VeilNet different?
So we built multiple features.
Which one are you
One of
most
the
excited about? What's the feature you're most excited about?
At the moment, the MCP server. That
Okay, why?
is, I believe that AI is the future, and automatically, I believe that a large percentage of our future behavioral choices or swaps will be done or through AI. So a lot of the things that we do in the future will be rooted into an AI server and will be trackable in essence. And as we know, big tech is known to sell our data to other firms and reuse our data and sell it on to other firms. So if I put my whole life into an AI that knows my behavior, tracks what I do, then I'm basically selling myself away to big tech in essence. And with AI agents, we believe that you can offset some of the actions that you take. For example, you can automate swaps, transfers, app usage onto AI agents, and therefore this kind of privately, what's the word? Sorry, my English is not the best, but it shields you from that oversight, I guess.
Yeah, and by the way, your language is great. You speak really, really well. Okay, so that's the feature you're most excited about. Now, talk to me about some other things. And
Data
I think
storage.
also talk to me about, what is the feature that you think the trenches would be most excited about?
Trenches. I feel like the Veldex is where we're moving quite in line with the trenches. So you can have private swaps with hidden intent and encrypted state.
So the DEX. So just correct me if I'm wrong. A DEX for those that are tuning in. We have over 1,000 plus people live late night on base. Again, not everyone tuning in is crypto. What's the word? Crypto native, meaning there might be beginners. So we try to simplify things for people as much as possible to learn. In addition to the trenches, who know this. For those that don't realize, a DEX is where you basically can trade different assets, not on a centralized exchange. No one owns it. So talking about this DEX, it's a privacy DEX where no one knows who's swapping what. Now, is this like I can swap literally anything? Is it just your coin? Like what does this DEX entail?
So at the moment, we have a number of assets that we provide liquidity for that you can swap in between privately. As well as that, we're planning to add VEILNET DeFi to the DEX too. So you're able to do encrypted yield farming. And
Oh,
since we believe that a resurgence of DeFi is imminent at some point, that part of making it safe for people is making it encrypted. Our DEX allows you to buy from one wallet and receive tokens in another wallet. So there's a few tokens that are listed, but we're planning to add a lot more. Another
wow.
thing that we believe that a lot will be like very useful for people is
Mhm.
it was the first feature we released, which was shielded transfers. Basically,
What
to
is that?
move, so you can move assets on chain without a trace, in essence. The way we do our encryption is that we use fully homomorphic encryption, which is like a style of computation where, combined with Merkle commitments, nullifiers, ZK proofs, it's all into one system where how do I simplify it for the people? The best way I would put it is that if you wanted, like, say you had X and Y data, but you wanted the system to act on your data without ever seeing the data,
Mm-hmm.
then FHE would be the way to do it. It would let you compute encrypted values without ever actually unwrapping the values. So, for example, let's say you go into the doctor's surgery tomorrow. The doctor asks, the receptionist asks to see your ID, but as a private person, you don't want to reveal your ID to the receptionist. Let's say, it's just an example, but it's all I can think of at the moment. Imagine there was a way for the doctor to verify, the receptionist to verify who you were without ever seeing your ID or knowing who you were due to an encrypted computation on her system. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that does make sense. Wow. I mean, this is all really bullish things because I said privacy is very important and you're providing the tools that allow it. And this is not theory, right? Your stuff is live. You can go on the decks right now and check it out. Is that correct?
It's live. You can check it honestly right now. One of the biggest things is that the problems that FHE has had in the past with systems like Zama and others is that it's really slow in essence, and it's really like gas heavy. So for us, we keep the encryption off chain and then anchor the results back to the blockchain with commitments and proofs. So the chain gets what it needs and it verifies it, and it's like trustless settlement. But because we do everything off chain, it doesn't require as much gas, it doesn't take as much time, because if we kept it all on the blockchain, it would be very gas heavy and very slow.
Wow, interesting. Shout out to the 1,300 plus people tuning in. Once again, guys, 2,000 plus people. If you haven't done so already, retweet this. Retweet this thing to your community. Let people know about VEILNET, what they're doing right now. Live, late on base, presented by Send. Okay, so everything is so you have this idea, it's out there in the market, people are buying it. Let's circle back a little bit before, and you decided to launch on Banker, or how did it work? Did someone in the community launch for you? Did you just launch it yourself? How did that process go for you to become the Banker ecosystem?
To be honest, this started off as a personal project, and then I started realizing that it was more important, and then I saw the whole rise of Zcash and the whole like resurgence of like cypherpunk. That was partly due to Mert from the Solana ecosystem, but it was like I realized what I was building was a bit bigger than me, so I ended up hiring one developer, another developer, and it ended up becoming a thing where we launched the token, not realizing it would become something like this at first. And with Banker, it was we chose Banker because it's an amazing platform. Banker is like a distribution layer, so for VEILNET, we need someone that could help us get eyes into the best ecosystem in the space. We could have easily launched on Solana, for example, but we believe that, at least at the moment, Coinbase is the institutional leader of crypto, and the base ecosystem is where a lot of the serious builders in the space that want to build technology that actually improves the lives of daily people are. As well as that, I feel that users on Base are the type to actually invest in technology that improves people's lives rather than memes and other things. Not that we have anything against memes, it's just that when you're building something more serious, you want to go for a platform or an ecosystem that's more rewarding of that.
Yeah, I could see that. Obviously, Base has its pros and cons, but it does have more interest from institutions and also from, those that are investing in utility projects versus Solana. I think AVAX is another one that is a really good chain. I know you're not on there, but I think AVAX eventually, and I'm going to speak to some of their builders in the AI world. I think AVAX has a lot of qualities on Base, but yeah, I think Base is a good place for AI, and I think. Yeah, I think Banker deserves a lot of credit for their ecosystem.
Banker
Banker
has the
team.
best, in my opinion, right now on in the base ecosystem. I think Banker has the most amazing social and trading community.
Banker's great community. Banker team, if you're listening, hey brothers and sisters, late night on base, you can sponsor it. I basically speak to pretty much the entire community. Look, I can put a little logo next to you, Banker, deployer, holler.
That'd be amazing.
Maybe.
I think it's like a combination of we've got one of the best chains that's retail accessible and credibly backed, along with a platform in that ecosystem that is got one of the best distribution models in the space.
Yeah. No, they really do. They really do. And like I said, Banker and Deployer and team deserve a lot of credit because Base in 2026, the beginning was dead, man. I mean, it didn't have an identity. 2025 was very much creator coin focus. and that went to shit. And then it wasn't until Banker, I mean, the AI explosion, January, end of January, kind of champion base is like, hey, this is the agentic layer economy. Okay, so
Honestly, one of the biggest things was also for us, like seeing other teams that were successful on base. For example, the Knock team, they're on base. There is the
shout out to Knock. They'll be on the show in a
yeah.
couple weeks.
We've seen lots of projects, even in the last couple of weeks, that have been building like impressive things on base. And I think
Really,
we have the same vision in mind, where it's that retail accessible, low fees, fast execution, and a culture that promotes technology rather than pump and dumps, for example. We've been
absolutely.
building for weeks, doing development updates every single day. We've got KOLs who've messaged us for deals, and we've chosen to rather work with KOLs that are organic with us. They just want to support us because of the fact that they realize we're building something impressive. If we had to do paid deals, we'd just go to the Solana ecosystem. At the moment, everyone that's supported us or worked with us is organic. We've never had to pay a single KOL. We've never had to pay a single VC to support us. It's just an organic community effort. So if
And
we keep pushing
I think
updates
it
and we have
shows.
more like a presence in the ecosystem, I'm sure we're going to do amazing things, because
Yeah,
we've
and
been pushing this for weeks and weeks, multiple updates every day, hard at work. And if it was Solana, honestly, I feel like part of the motivational factor is being part of a culture that supports us and pushes us to build more. We get questions every day in DMs. Oh, this isn't working. Can I fix? I'll fix this for you. We get another DM. Oh, this hasn't worked, and we'll fix it. And it's like in other ecosystems, it's not the same, honestly. I
yeah,
don't think people even use the technology in other ecosystems, if I'm honest with
they
you.
don't. They
But
don't.
yeah,
They don't. No, and I think a couple things to highlight what you just said. I think you can tell that the people who are talking about you, it's organic. Your chart just shows it. Again, I don't really talk charts on the stream because I don't care about the prices per se, and this is not just a pump and dump channel. I care about the people in the tech. But there's no denying there's strength in your chart, and that's also probably because you have right people behind it who are backing you, aren't
yeah.
paid to do so. You have people like Still Capo, OG legend in the space, helping advocate for it. And those are really, really great people to
Capo's
have.
been
So,
amazing to us. He
yeah,
didn't take any deal from us. He literally, I think he market bought our product, and he just been
he
supporting ever
works big
since.
bags.
He even
He works.
onboarded all his friends. It was just something like it's when the community effort is in sync, where the community aligns with the product. I feel like this is the sort of result that you can achieve. And we've got so many updates planned for the next week or two that, as long as the market stays well, we've got so much planned. We're
Can you
going to be
give us?
pushing updates regardless of
Can you
where
give it?
price
Can you give
goes.
us?
But it's like,
Late night on base loves alpha, bro. You want to give us some alpha?
oh, the alpha. I would say keep your eyes peeled for the end of this week. There's something big coming. We have some interesting, I would say, updates coming at the end of the week. And it's
Interesting.
something that we've been planning for a while. Turn this into something more than just um, small updates in one ecosystem. We've got something big planned.
Ooh, you're making me want to market buy some right now, actually, on FOMO or something. That's a good update. We got a few more minutes to go, and I kind of want to ask you some questions too about just kind of you as a person. Like, what have you been active in the space before? Is AI and like privacy DeFi something you've worked upon in the past?
I've worked in the private space for a while. I started off. I'm not sure how much I can say about myself personally,
Sure.
but I was a software developer, and for me, I started in crypto in 2013,
Wow.
where I was on forums. I'm pretty sure you can guess which ones, or a couple of the ones I was on, and a lot of the culture I grew up around was very cypherpunk focused. I
Yeah.
don't know if everyone, I don't know how old people are in here, but if they remember 2011 with the low sec hacks back in the day when PayPal happened, they got hacked, or when people used to take down websites or DDoS servers that were possibly causing political harm in the rest of the world, or like corporations that were doing damage to the rest of the world. So the culture I come from is very different from the current, I would say, crypto culture. But I'm glad I'm seeing a revival of cypherpunk ideals. But yeah, so I've been part of the privacy space for a while. I've tried to make links with a lot of communities. I've invested in a lot of privacy projects, angel investments, and since my whole, I don't know how much I want to say about myself. I can't name the team that I worked for in the past, but they're very big in the fully homomorphic encryption space.
Basically, you're not just some novice who lives in his parents' basement, is what I'm getting. You're someone who's been in the space for a while. You're knowledgeable.
I've worked for a very big fully homomorphic encryption
and that to me makes it even more bullish as a project, because again, the people behind the project, there's a lot of anons. You don't know who it is, but like somebody like you just said the word 2013. You've been around 2011. The cypherpunk ideals, like that just shows that you really are passionate about this. You've been in this space for a while, and you like I said, you don't have to be building this, but you decide to do it. So let me ask you this. Let's end it on this note. Live late night on the base with
I want to get some alpha at the end, just in case anyone's still
What's
listening. I have like some alpha for you guys.
Ooh, more alpha, baby. Let's go. Okay. 2,300 plus people live late night on the base with VEILNET presented by Send. Okay. So now I always like to see ambition from founders. I want to know where their ideal state is. So I want you to think 1 year from now, June 2nd, 2027, what metrics or milestones do you want to see VEILNET take place?
Could you repeat that story? Was it cut out my internet?
No worries. I want to see how ambitious you are. What are some future goals? So I want you to think 1 year from now, 2027, June 2nd. What metrics or goals would you like to see VEILNET, achieve?
I would say the next 6-month arc is kind of simple. From a privacy vault that protects holding and sending to an encrypted ecosystem that wraps the entire DeFi and AI stack. We've got so much that's being built that we want to be, in essence, the leader of privacy on base. So that means building not just for ourselves with technology that we're building for a lot of people to use, but we're hoping the effects also go on to our VEILNET holders, because we're planning to make a way for something to we want tokens, we want money to flow back into the ecosystem, basically, in essence. So from fees, we're planning to reward token holders eventually. So if we get enough volume and our DEX works well and we list more pairs, there's so much we're planning that we want a reward for the VEILNET token holders with some sort of buybacks or some sort of flows into the token, if that makes sense. So our first goal, become the leader in base agentic privacy. We want to be the dominant privacy DEX on base. We also want to add multi-chain support eventually at some point, but that is later on down the line. And one of our forthcoming goals is to introduce staking for VEILNET holders, so they can get a percentage back from fees generated by our entire ecosystem. Because we've built so much technology and this volume flowing for each of the things that we build it from, shoulder transfers and our VEILDEX, the fees that are accumulated, we want it to flow back to stakers and to people that use and buy our token.
Man, you understand providing value to the holders. You understand how to build something. I'm excited.
I think Hyperliquid would set the standard for rewarding your token holders with not just your product. The product is amazing, but you also reward them with buybacks and you reward them with generation from fees going back into the token.
Absolutely. If you can do that, without the users, without the community, a project's nothing. I tell them every day. But yeah, my friend, listen, 2,600 plus people tuning in live late night on base. Any last words you have for the audience?
I would say keep your eyes peeled for Friday. We have some agentic focused updates coming. And we know the AI space is going crazy at the moment. And that's where we started, to be honest, with the MCP server. In fact, we front ran the whole base MCP server with our own private MCP server. But I would say keep your eyes peeled for this weekend. We have a lot of big things coming in the AI space and agentic space.
Well, I mean, I'm very bullish. I actually think, and I think a lot of people who've tuned in will probably feel more bullish about the overall trajectory of the project. And that's, you came through, you explained your vision, you talked about who you are, and I'm sure it's very impressive to other people, and myself included. My friend, thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. We'll have a couple clips made for you by tomorrow. Share it out, tag you guys, the team will, and we'll also distribute this on Spotify as a podcast episode. Take care, brother.
Take care, brother.
All right. That is the team from VEILNET. Very interesting. So we have Brandon on the backstage. So Brandon, I'll call you up in a few. Shout out again to the AVAX community. That chat's popping, man. The arena. Shout out to you guys. Again, I still don't know what tickets are. Don't know if you buy it. I really don't know, but shout out to you guys. Very interesting project. Like I said, VEILNET to me. And again, nothing I say on this show is financial advice. Absolutely. I shouldn't have to tell you that. I just tell you guys, I just bring people on to explain. I think the privacy aspect in any sector is very important. It's critical. It's a narrative that's never going to go away. And I think shielded transactions are very important. Being able to not have people track what you do, like that's a fundamental right that you should hold. And again, if you're a corporation, you're human. If especially corporations, like if your competitors know exactly what you're doing when, they will use it against you. And as a human itself, do I want to get robbed? No, right? Stuff like that. I don't want people knowing my biz. So I'm very bullish on them. And yeah. So without though further ado, we're gonna bring up Brandon in a second, but we got to play a quick clip from our sponsor. Let's see. A quick clip from Send, baby. Let's play this.
Osteonesis, Hera, Hermes, Icarus, Narcissus, Medusa, Epasos, Ashalala, Susus, Minerva, Ecobubus. I love it when you couscous. Aphrodite, Ventusca, Osteonesis, Hera, Hermes, Icarus,
And that is Send peer-to-peer money anywhere in the world globally. Send it instantly with privacy features, built-in privacy. There you go. Another aspect of privacy that is Send. Download in your iOS store today. Shout out to, again, 3,000 people. Wow, I just wanted 2,000, but we got 3,000. I'll take it. Mom, I made it. No, I didn't. But still, Mom, check it out. But forget about me. Let's bring out Brandon, my friend. What is up, dude? How you doing?
I'm doing well. How is your Tuesday treating you over there?
Not bad. First of all, nice blazer, bro. Blazer Brothers.
Yeah, I couldn't show up here with you looking so classy and not make sure that I showed you the same respect,
Well, listen, man, I appreciate that. But no, I'm excited to have you on because we haven't known each other for a while, but I've quickly have started to, slow some interest in the AVAX community. And I remember tweeting it out there because, again, I'm a new person on AVAX, and I was asking people, like, who are some of the people to follow? Who are some of the people that are, making waves? And your name came up quite a bit. And I started kind of looking at it. You also do a show, and I saw the kind of guests you have. I've seen your clips, and I respect that as somebody who also does the same thing. It's not easy. So wanted to have you on, but Brandon, just talk to me real quick. Like, who is Brandon? Just like give me an overview of like who are you?
That's a big question. It's kind of funny. After coming off the interview, we were just talking about Gary's brand I Am and establishing who people are. So funny little into it. Yeah, I think for me, going into different things, I'm somebody who's just loves to be in something that's more front foot, especially within technology. And I came from a space where I went from finance into tech, more on the sales and business services side, and then into crypto and blockchain technology. So I'm always somebody who wants to be where I feel like the cutting edge of things being built out is. And for me, even coming from tech, it once you dove deeper into this industry and what we were doing with blockchain and the financial infrastructure, it made some of the things I was doing, even within engaging with tech companies, feel slow. So I eventually had to go full time into this industry back in 2021. And since then, I've been all over in different places, advising, helping launch things, and engaging. And then within the last 2 years, started up my show that eventually a year ago became a stream, really branching out of the arena and getting a little bit more of a social audience there.
Talk to me. Talk to me about the progression. So when you set foots in AVAX, let's start AVAX for instance. Was that the chain that you kind of initially pushed on in 2021, or was it like how did you get to the AVAX community and kind of get entrenched?
I actually got to Avalanche through the arena. So I started investing and buying different cryptocurrencies, and especially some of the bigger ones, Bitcoin, Ethereum, things back in 2017. But I did, it was light. It was end of the year, kind of catching the blow off end cycle, get rinsed, you get your first bear market. But I always knew it was coming back. So 2019, I really started tapping in 2020. I was like a DeFi summer, Uniswap entry and all that. And I was very heavily into Ethereum, heavily into Bitcoin, went through the NFT craze, fell into my love for collectibles, metaverse. Obviously, I loved Ready Player One, so it was all about that. But in 2023, Friend Tech came around on base, and I was a little late to that. I didn't really catch wind of what it was. And when I was looking to get into Friend Tech, I messaged KJ and was saying, hey, can you get me a code to get into Friend Tech? And Crypto Daddy came in and said, you should come check out Stars Arena. I think it's more worth it. I think there's a more buzz, and give it a shot before you jump in. So from there, I went into Friend Tech, spent about 5 minutes in there, never opened the app again, because right after that, I went into Stars Arena, which became the arena. And the level of energy, the level of magnetism, the level of excitement was next level. So I got the buzz. I just locked fully in. And that was me being introduced to Avalanche, the Avalanche community, through an app and a platform on their chain.
So what is it about the arena that interests you so much? Because again, and again, shout out to the arena, the chat's popping. There's always people who support, I've last year I was heavy into Zora. Like I was one of the top creators and they had a live streaming platform, but the community was non-existent, literally not at all. Like if you do a live stream, no one showed up. But on the arena, people who have zero idea who I was a week ago, they're just showing up in the chat, supporting me, just talking. And I love that. So I see the activity and I see the interest. But what was it about you that interests you about the arena when you first joined? Was it the live streaming aspect at that time? Was there other features that you really enjoyed? What was it about the arena that really caught your eye back in 2023?
Going back then, there wasn't live streaming. There weren't stages, which is Spaces version, the Spaces version on the social audio portion of the arena. Back then, it was a Twitter-esque clone. Before Jason ended up buying it, Jason was a user with me on the platform. We're more power users on that. And it was, for me, I came to X because that was where CT was. I didn't have a Twitter before that. I don't care about any other content on X. I came here for this industry and to engage with people in this industry. So when a social platform came around that was even more bubble, at least at first, was very bubbled into this community locking in, the ticket system, the integration of a social platform with the financial infrastructure of blockchain, and everything being smooth within it, and seeing the vision of where it could go, that to me was really exciting, because I could see the flaws in a lot of their social media platforms, which they're slowly fixing now with a lot of the stable coin infrastructure they're putting in. I could see where it was going. And then on top of that, after the initial hype phase when Jason bought it, I really believed in Jason. I believed him as a power user, and then I believed in him and believe in him as a founder and the vision he has for the future of it.
Yeah, I think I briefly have chatted with Jason too. I'm going to have him on the show at some point. And it seems like he obviously cares about it. And by the way, want to give a shout out to some people on the stream. I know there's Avax no Chilio. He's been an OG in the base community as well, but he's been Avax through and through.
Jay.
Yeah, I appreciate you. There's Blake Liberty. Nice to meet you. Here for Brandon. Got to support the good ones and enjoying what you're bringing, Bill. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Okay. Shout out to the 3,200 plus people tuning in live late night on base. We're with Brandon from Brandon the Dazzle Novak. Okay. So now this is fascinating to me because like I really like the AVAX community. I see so much similarities to early stage base that like I think AVAX is going to be big, and I want to get to know that community. So let me ask you this, and I want to get into streaming and all that. What is it about AVAX that you think honestly is the reason why it hasn't really taken off? Because outside of the AVAX community, it's not many people know the builders, not many people know the community. They don't know the projects. Why do you think AVAX hasn't achieved that level of success yet?
It's a big question. There are probably some multiple camps on this, and there are some heated discussions that go on in the ecosystem.
What do you think
around this? I think there's a few things. I think we've seen a lot of, in my opinion, I've seen a lot of beta plays, or you go further down the play of that I'm not seeing as many frontline innovative platforms that would drive people to the chain because they're a first mover. I'm seeing a lot more copies of something that where a prediction market worked on these 3 chains. Let's run a prediction market here. This worked on these 3 chains. Let's roll it out here. So one thing is I personally haven't seen that big platform, that big app to ripple across a bunch of chains. Ripple is kind of a funny word to use there, but I think we're still looking for that bigger onboarding moment through something super innovative, staking its claim on this chain, in my opinion. I think the arena has potential for things like that, but even if we look bigger than that, I do think that some of the builds I've seen have been a little bit simpler or been beta plays to things that have already succeeded, which I don't hate. It's just a lot of times they're very established in those other places. You have Polymarket, you have Kalshi, you have these staked their claim. This is their thing. So it doesn't drive a ton of user flow to a chain like Avalanche if most people are just going to get Kalshi or Polymarket. So for me, it's that. It's a pretty small ecosystem, and it can eat itself pretty quickly. It can start kind of tearing itself up a bit if things aren't going right. So I think it needs more people, more users. And to me, that's from a community side, it needs to be some kind of platform that brings people in, brings people together, and that they can engage with each other. I don't have the silver bullet for that, but I haven't really seen that. If I look around, there's also not a lot of places you can put money. If I'm coming in as an investor, maybe you from the outside, I can't confidently list very many platforms or apps before I would run out with something that I'd say I'm confident that the price will potentially go up in the future. So a little light on the overall infrastructure to be able to invest into, which would then eventually ideally push the price up, which then of course gets it to a little bit more of an amplification to all chains, and opportunity presents itself.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think obviously a chain needs 2 things. They need the builders to come to build innovative products that people want to be a part of. And you also need to have the trenches, the traders to actually care. And if you build cool things, people will come. I think one of the things that struck me interesting about AVAX is their shift to the institutional investment side of things, institutional grade companies. Let me ask you, was that something that's recently happened? Because like I've seen FIFA is now like using AVAX as their blockchain, and I know there's some other, I mean, that's now their focus is like institutional type people coming in. How long has it been since like that was the new shift?
The business focus, and I don't work for Avalanche or anything like that, so don't take it from like I'm coming straight from all the inside information, but they're packaging it a little bit nicer now so that people really understand the core business model. And Ariel's doing an amazing job with that, coming over from Solana and running marketing. they are packaging it well, but they have been hitting really well on that. Even going to the conversation with Bitwise the other week and them speaking to specifically why they feel it's a good investment to get into Avalanche, being around their ability to really help with institutions and the infrastructure being strong enough to manage, and the L1, the ability to for each infrastructure or each institution to have their own L1, a lot of these different things along with finality, speed, things like that. It is set up for that, and they have been leaning into that. Where we're lately, probably the line in the sand or the problem has been a bit is you got CT in the community, which is maybe some more DGen, things like that. And then you have institutional and large scale deals and putting together longer, bigger builds. Sometimes those things are at arms because CT's maybe looking for that meme coin runner, that platform to full send. They are struggling to find the line of how does this institution drive money into my pocket, which CT is much more oriented towards, how do I make money?
Yeah, well, it's the builders need to come on the chain to build products that traders care about. Traders care about the money aspect, and rightfully so. You look at on base, the banker ecosystem, it's the only thing really popping on base. No memes, nothing. But the reason why people like it is because the top builders are coming in, they're getting tooling, they're getting funding, and they're making products that people actually make money. So AVAX needs to kind of has the ability, and like I said, it's hard. The hardest thing, in my opinion, is to attract builders to come and build on the chain. Without the builders, there's nothing for a trader to do. I'm of the camp. The hardest thing is bringing the builders. Once you bring the builders, then the second easiest thing is get traders involved, and then that's obviously through products and stuff like that. I think last question on this, or Blake Liberty just says, my personal opinion, AVAX is focused on institutions and thus kind of lets the community do their thing. That has led to an organic and close-knit community that came together and provided a really neat community, which is actually really true. Like I said, it feels like a family, and I can sense it as an outsider. Okay, enough about AVAX. I want to talk about you. We have 10 more minutes or something. I want to talk about your stream. You have some great guests. What exactly drew you now? So you started your stream, you said 2 years ago?
I started Spaces 2 years ago, which migrated into Stages, which is social audio on the arena. And then about a year ago, pivoted to streaming, feeling it was much easier to clip and have content last longer than the moment of time.
Interesting. So what drew you to streaming in general? Like Spaces streaming, is it the storytelling? What aspect of streaming excites you the most?
What drew me in was a conversation I had with Icy at one point. I was talking to him, I was on a call with him and breaking down some ecosystem more in depth. And I was always pretty behind the scenes working with different founders or doing advising or strategy stuff. And I spent maybe an hour and a half explaining an ecosystem or something I was looking at to him. And he paused me and said, have you ever thought about getting more public? Have you ever thought about breaking down things more in depth in a broader audience style? Because you're telling me so much right now, and I'm a little bit like, why is this information not coming out more? Why are you not speaking to more people? And so that to me was a bit of a challenge to say, all right, well, let me see if I can package something and start this path. And that started as Spaces, eventually moved into streaming. What was the second piece you were saying with that question?
No, I was just saying kind of like, what excites you the most? So obviously you got into the Spaces and the streaming, but now that you're streaming, what is it about streaming because streaming is not easy, man. What you're doing is not easy. Booking guests, clipping, it's a job. So obviously there has to be something about it that keeps you going. So what is it about the streaming aspect that excites you the most?
Yeah, for me, it's having really good conversation, meeting amazing people, getting the chance to have discussions with people that have so much experience in areas that I might not have experience in, or they have a lens on something different or a different lens on the same situation. It's being able to come on stream with you and have a conversation, meet you, meet a ton of great people. Really, when it comes down to some of the most important things in life, networking has got to be up there. in the top. And the stream allows me to meet a lot of people, but also introduce those people to a lot of my network or community so that I can introduce them who I feel are good actors, who I feel can provide knowledge to them, can put them in a position in an industry where a lot of people are destroyed constantly, can put them in a position to not be exit liquidity, to not be the retail person who gets washed out, whether it's security wise, whether it's bad advice or anything, all the above. That was really my driving force behind the brand of exit liquidity, is to give people the skills, the tool, the knowledge, the network to prevent them from being exit liquidity for a lot of the bad actors that are in this industry. So that's what drives me. It's what I'm passionate about and why I keep trying to level up to get better and better guests, speakers, things, because I want to meet them. I want to learn from them, but I want my audience, my community to learn as much as they can to succeed in this industry and to succeed financially in general.
Who has been your favorite guest that you've had so far? Or maybe someone you've learned a lot from.
I don't think I have a favorite because a lot of them have really good. It's a really good conversation in the lane they're in. I thought Soul Jakey was a super interesting conversation because it was behind the curtain of the persona that is Soul Jakey to a content master, somebody who understands the subtleties to pieces in a content world. Oh, I noticed my shirt was getting comments. So because the shirt was getting comments, I incorporated a different style to what I'm wearing. It like the subtleties of content that create virality. I thought that was super interesting. To Ragsy, who is a meme and degen, knowing how disciplined you've got to be to succeed, to Bitwise, who's having this amazing researched conversation on truly what it takes to get a multi-billion-dollar company to invest. It's like to Jason, I could endlessly list it. So many of the people who come on have so much value to bring, and there's every conversation gives me and ideally the audience a ton of great nuggets to walk away with.
How was the episode today with one of the Cardone brothers?
Oh, it was really good. I think a lot of people mix them up a little bit. Grant and Gary, they're actually twins, and it was good. People like that achieve at those levels into the hundreds of millions, multiple time sold companies, large scale entrepreneurs also did it in big business. How can you not be excited to have a conversation and get perspective from them, especially at that stage in life where he's late in his career? The amount of lessons he's learned, the amount of things he's fought through, even psychologically, ego, being defensive, breaking that down, being receptive to feedback, how to evolve, how to succeed, how to look at things, how to frame things. It's so valuable. I appreciate people so much for taking the time to be willing to sit down with me. I don't know these people. I don't know a lot of these people before I get on stream with them. So it means a lot to me that somebody takes the time, and really, whether there's 5 people listening, whether there's 5,000 people listening, it means so much to me that people show up to listen to what I put on, whether there's 1 or 1 million. It's 2 hours of time, and people spend their time watching. And I want to say it because I know you probably feel the same. It means so much when people show up and engage and support these streams.
Absolutely. And I think the best thing is when you're watching a stream and your audience learns something about it. Last question for you before we have to wrap it up. Who are some guests that you would love to have on the show? Anyone specific on the top of your head?
Yeah, I'd love to have. Yeah, I know it's a big ask, but I'd love to have a Gary Vee on. I love the motivational aspect of what he does. I love his integration into blockchain, crypto, his passion for collectibles, things like that. There's multiple people from funds. The list is long, but I know Gary, just to list one off the top of my head, that's somebody I'd love to have on and talk about so many aspects of the amazing things he's done in and outside of crypto.
Yeah, that would absolutely be a good guess. Brandon, if people want to find you who are in the arena or who aren't AVAX native, they want to find you and learn more. Is there you have a YouTube, right? Or should they find you on YouTube, X? Where's the best way to find
Yeah.
Brandon?
You can find me, I guess, on a lot of different socials at Exit Liquidity Media on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch. You can also find me at the Dazzle Novak on TikTok, Instagram, X, all those. That will be my personal side, and then Exit Liquidity Media will be my brand side.
Dude, I love it, man. It's honestly been such a good time getting to know you. Like I said, we haven't known each other a long time, but I'm very impressed by you. I'm very impressed by your curiosity, the type of guests you're bringing. And dude, I look forward to just watching your stream, seeing you succeed. And if there's anything I could ever do for you, brother, just say the word.
Absolutely. And yeah, if you need to hit me up, I can always give you my number, anything like that. I'm not a traditional crypto hide behind PFP or don't come on thing. So yeah, message me anytime. Happy to pop on a call. I know for a lot of us, people sometimes feel they got to go at it alone. Best thing you can do is meet great people like Bill, meet great people like Garrett, meet great people, get to know them, get to understand where their focus is, and share your experiences, share what you're looking at, push back on each other, because you cannot take this industry on alone. You will not win nearly as well as if you have a guy like Bill in your corner and these other people, and you share the things you're attacking. But thank you so much for having me on the show today, Bill. I appreciate you taking the time, and it means a lot getting the invite.
Absolutely, bro. A pleasure is all mine. And we'll talk soon, my friend. Thanks for coming on. And like I said, I could tell the first guest, we'll have a couple clips made, and my team will push it out, tag you the whole 9 yards episode on Spotify as well. So we look
I
forward.
appreciate it. Thank
All
you.
right, brother. Cheers, brother. All right, that is Brandon, the Dazzle Network, or the Dazzle, I call it. The Dazzle Novak. I should have asked him what the Dazzle Novak means. My fault on that one. Maybe Brandon, you could tell me again sometime. But yeah, anyways, shout out to him, man. I just love speaking to builders like that and creative types. You could just tell the passion, and like whatever he was saying kind of resonates with me, because doing what we're doing is not easy, guys. It's not easy to create a production, create actually good content for people to watch, interviewing guests, asking the right questions. It's not easy. So it's nice to have somebody who understands what it takes, and I look forward to seeing him succeed. So with that being said, guys, I think we're going to end it. Shout out to the 3,300 people tuning in. Appreciate everyone on the arena. Ooh, got tipped, baby. Let's go. Philip 702. Let's go. Matthew. Let's go. King Tipper, bro. Let's go. I didn't realize you could tip on this app. Dude, I appreciate you guys. I absolutely appreciate you for, whether you tip or you don't tip, I don't care. But I do appreciate the love you have shown me. I really like AVAX. I've said it many, many times. I'm actually talking to a lot of people in the AVAX community, want to feature them, want to get on the streams. And who knows, guys, maybe late night on AVAX will be a thing, because I want to feature it all. But we'll see. Or maybe base. I don't know what we'll do. But I really, really like you, that community. So listen, everyone, I appreciate you all. We're here Monday through Thursday, noon PST. Day in and day out, we talk to the best builders and interesting people in all of crypto and tech, on-chain apps. Doesn't even have to be in crypto. We talk to them all to educate everyone and tell some stories, to showcase the builders on building the next internet. So with that being said, guys, appreciate you all. Catch you guys next time. Cheers.